Welcome, gardening fans. Spring is in the air, everywhere I look around. Well, I've been asked to do a little presentation video for the good people at the Potteries Museum and Gallery all the way in Stoke-on-Trent. So I'd like to start off by bigging the gallery up itself, because if you've ever been before, it's fantastic. At the moment they're doing an online version, which you're probably watching right now. There's various different competitions and you can do virtual guides around the gallery. We're going to start off by celebrating one of your amazing sections, which is archaeology, because let's not forget, at the museum and gallery you've got the fantastic, superb home of the Staffordshire hoard. And let me tell you, you've got gold, gold, always believe in your soul. That's right, big up to all the metal detectorists out there. Another wonderful selection of the museum and gallery is the natural history part. In my small garden, I've actually got a very own piece of Stoke-on-Trent pottery. Yeah, I've actually got a small pot that I've popped on its side, and last year and this year a blackbird is nesting in it. Come and have a look. Look. Well, here we are in our potting shed. This is where all the potting action happens. It's springtime, and I just think it'd be a really good idea to plant some seeds. And we don't even need to go to the shop. We're going to actually find seeds that you can find in your very own fridge. So when we're actually thinking of planting seeds, we're going to think about actual pots. And some people might not have pots. But everything that we do have is inside of a toilet roll. So it's quite simple. You just cut it into 4 like this, and then you're just going to fold it 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it upside down. You might want to put a little bit of tape in there as well, and we've made some already. Now then, another kind of starter pot is shells from eggs. Just cut them away, and some people can use compost. If you don't have compost, do not worry. Simply get some soil and just crush it a little bit so it's a little bit fine. Just okay. Now then, so the first thing we're going to actually sow today is cucumbers. Now, you just simply get a cucumber like this and you cut it in half. And what I've done, I've actually got a spoon, and I just simply spoon out all of these fantastic seeds, and I pop them in a glass. And the word on the street is all the seeds that land to the bottom are the healthy seeds. Then you collect them, you can dry them by putting them on a kitchen towel. And I've got some seeds here, not many, there you go. Got some seeds here, and what we're going to do, we're just going to simply plant 1 or 2 of these seeds in these pots just here like this. And here we go. So we're just going to put 1 or 2 seeds in there like that. Just put them in about the size of my fingernail. And then once you've planted any seeds, it's really important to just cover them over and then put a little bit of water in there. I always like to put my seeds in damp soil, so soil that's already had a little bit of a water in. So that's one way of doing it. I usually put 2 or 3 or 4 maybe in a pot that size. Now, cucumbers love lots of watering. Okay, so you make sure when you do put them in front of your window in the glare of the sunshine, or if you're lucky, if you've got a greenhouse, make sure that you continuously keep them wet. Peppers are really cool seeds to grow. Simply pick away some peppers like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them in there. Maybe about 1 or 2 seeds in each egg, if you like. So take your time. 1 or 2 in your seed, that's it. Pop some more compost over the top, and remember to water them. Leave them like this, and then once they've grown to around about this big, you need to be putting them in another pot around about that size. And then when it grows to about that big, guess what? You're going to grow into a pot maybe about this size. Now remember to label your seeds, because it's quite easy, even with this amount of seeds, to get confused which one's which. So if you've got a lollipop, simply write on a lollipop, or if you haven't got a lollipop, a yogurt or a cream container, you just basically, the inside is nice and clear, so we're just going to write down what you're actually sowing. So we're going to actually do some tomatoes now. Now there's 2 ways of doing tomatoes, and people are actually thinking, why on earth are you popping them in the eggshells? Well, the eggshells is an actual natural fertilizer, and we're going to make some other fertilizer in a minute. Fertilizer is food for plants. Okay, we all need food to grow, and so do plants. So shells are really good fertiliser for small seedlings. Now then, there's two ways I like to grow my tomatoes. These are the seeds. I've actually dried them off with a normal tomato. I've just cut the tomato in half, put them in some water, and then dried them off on some kitchen roll, and you simply get hold of the seeds. Again, put 2 or 3 in the shells, wait for them to grow to about this big, and then you want to repot them into something a little bit bigger, again about this size, and then at the end, next to a window or in a greenhouse, you want to be growing them in a pot about this size. Okay, now then, that's one way of actually growing the tomato seeds like this. Okay, don't forget to water them. The really easy way of growing tomatoes is you get a tray like this of compost, or as I say, some fine soil, and you simply cut the tomatoes like this. And as you can see, the tomatoes, you can already see the seeds on them, like that. And we just place them like this, and it's quite simple. We just move them around there, so we're going to grow like this. There's another piece. And then simply, all you need to do is to sprinkle some compost over the top. There you go, like this. And again, don't forget to water them, because all plants, they love the sunshine, they love some watering, and it's quite simple. So leave that like that, and come back in a few days' time, and you'll start to see the seedling grow. Now, we're going to actually go outside now and do some potatoes. Well, as we say, we're outside now, and I love potatoes. Now, have you ever actually opened a bag of potatoes, and sometimes they actually have sprouts on them? Do not worry. Simply get hold of the potato, make sure the sprouts are facing upwards, pop them in a really lovely bucket like this, pop them like that, and then simply cover them with some fine soil. I've got a little bit of compost in here. Now, the cool thing is, you just leave them a little bit, and then before you know it, 2 or 3 weeks, they'll start to sprout, and small leaves will come up. Then the secret is, add a little bit more soil. Keep adding more soil, the potatoes will grow, and that one potato, if you're really lucky, it may just give you around about 10, 12 potatoes. Fantastic. Just think of all those chips and mashed potatoes you can make with that. Now, all of you friends of the Potteries Museum and Art Gallery will know this fantastic creature. It's Ozzy the Owl. Check out their online gallery, and you guys can just print off a piece of paper like this and do some amazing pictures. And who knows, you might even actually be on their fantastic wall. Now then, people are asking, what is the most common owl in the country right now? Have a think about it. What is the most common owl? Yeah, is it a barn owl? No? Okay. Well, I think it's actually a teat. That's right, it's a teat owl, because every kitchen usually has at least 2 or 3 of them. Now, another fabulous way of actually getting more vegetables for your money is this. You simply get some celery, you eat it, you cut it about this much, and then you simply place it in a bowl of water. And in a couple of days, there will be new growth coming from above and new shoots from below. Then you can simply transport it into a pot about this size. That will be ideal to grow new celery. You can also do this with onions, leeks, spring onions, and also lettuce. Now, I talked before about making your own fertiliser. Bananas and banana skins are a fabulous source of calcium, phosphorus, and also potassium. Now then, you simply cut them up, leave them in a jar. I've actually just used an old container like this. Leave it for about 2 or 3 days. It'll go a dark colour, and then simply use that to feed your new growing plants. It's absolutely fantastic and works every time. When I think of visiting the Stoke-on-Trent area, I love the canal system in Staffordshire. And it got me thinking, all these people at the moment who are having to stay indoors, just have a think about, you know, the families who used to live on the canal boats, who used to transport the coal into the potteries, and then actually transporting the fantastic and the fabulous potteries that you actually made in the Stoke-on-Trent area that would then travel throughout the world. But for all those families who used to live on the canals, well, you know, they used to educate themselves there, they used to work, and they used to live on a really small canal boat. So just have a think about that. I tell you what, if you're bored, why don't you make a small den, and roughly about the same size of a canal boat, and just imagine living in that area 24/7. Well, I hope you enjoyed our small presentation and bigging up the wonderful Potteries Museum and Art Gallery. And when it's open, remember, well, 2 of my favourite parts is the museum cafe, the museum shop as always, and remember everyone, it's for free, just like this website. Take care, enjoy yourself, stay safe, and hope you enjoy the small activities you've just seen in this presentation.